Shawn Clement here with a really special episode. And I've been wanting to do this one for a long while now. And as you saw from the title, what was Hogan's real secret? And you'll see, this will really start to make a lot of sense to you. Now, because of the video era, and video has really sent us back to the Stone Age, because the only time you really want to use video in your analysis is in matching perception to reality. Now, Hogan never had video analysis. He barely had camera analysis, still pictures. And in those days, we didn't have, high-speed photography either. So what did he have? All he had was target. Now, you understand, if you've read anything about Hogan, you understand how difficult it was and how much, very little money you made playing the tour in those days. You really had to be in the top 5, to really put together a decent living, or you had to be rich. So now you heard the stories about Hogan waking up one morning with his car jacked up and all 4 tires were gone, and he had to make a check that week to be able to continue on. So in those days it was, I got to put the ball there or else, all right? It was really down to that wire. And if you looked at how they practice with their caddies, here's a really interesting or a popular story that you hear. Hogan is working on his fade, and he's starting the shots a little left of his caddy, because in those days they had the shaggers, they had the ball shaggers, and they were out in the range, and the players were hitting their shots toward their caddies. So they were really interested in not getting mixed up with everybody else's, and for the safety of the caddy as well. So a lot of the caddies had their baseball gloves. They would catch the ball, or they would allow the ball to fall at their feet and then use that plunger. So Hogan was practicing shots towards his caddy, and somebody behind them was passing by and said, I can help you with that fade there, Ben. And Hogan replied, "You don't see my caddy moving, do you? Run along." So it was about where he wanted to start and where he wanted to end. Now, I've had the privilege of playing some nice clubs in the LA area, and 2 of which have some really popular stories there about Hogan as well. One was at the LA Country Club. On the back 9, there's one of the holes, I believe it's number 13, and you're going uphill, and you've got all these houses in the background. You got 3 palm trees in the distance. And because it was a blind landing area, you were going up into the fairway, Hogan asked the caddy, "Where's the target?" And the caddy replied, "The 3 palm trees, Mr. Hogan." Well, 3 palm trees wasn't accurate enough for him, because it left to be desired. It left it open. You left the brain open to confusion. So he needed to know where to start, where to end. So he asked, no, which one? So the caddy says, "The middle one, Mr. Hogan," probably rolling his eyes, thinking how pompous he was. But when he started it left of that palm tree and faded it back toward the center of the center palm tree, which is exactly what I think he did, then the caddy's eyes must have lit up, because he was that accurate once he knew where to start and where to end it. So he would, in his mind, and this is what I want you to really understand about your game. You can't say, well, I'm going to start it there and fade it that way. That's not a closed loop mentally. You have to plan for exactly what you want. I'm not saying that's what you're going to do, but you got to plan for it, and then that's what's going to give your central nervous system the wherewithal as to how much you're going to release. Because if I tell you right now, take a driver, open the face a lot, hold it really tight, and swing hard to the left and make the ball banana slice, versus keep a square grip, right? And a club that you would normally hit a straight draw with, play the ball a hair more forward to center, aim a little left of your target, and hold it off so you're holding it on the left side of that flagstick. Those are 2 very different kinds of shots. So you need to have a very specific place to start and a very specific place to end. So left palm tree to center palm tree, left edge of left palm tree back to left edge of center palm tree. Another one was the El Royale Hotel on hole number 8 at the Wilshire Country Club. I remember that one because we have our Canadian consulate right there at the tee box. And Hogan asked, well, which E of El Royale? Because the caddy said the E of El Royale, Mr. Hogan. He says, well, there are two E's. Oh, the big E, Mr. Hogan. Well, the big E is on the left side of the building, and the slope and the fairway comes down, so I knew it was left edge of the slope to left edge of the building where the big E was. And I split the fairway on that particular shot. And I knew that's what he was thinking as well, because it just set up so beautifully to the eye when you were looking at it in that sense. So Hogan's swing reacted to the pictures that he picked. So Hogan was a master at finding his targets, okay? So then he allowed the swing to react to that picture. That's how he built his swing. And yet today, the internet is littered with people looking at, well, look at his elbow. In my opinion, it was his supination, or no, it was his pronation, or it was his weak grip, or it was his cupped wrist. None of that matters, because sports science is proving it over and over in the last decade. You can't focus on internal stuff, which is body positions and club face positions. You got to focus on external stuff like targets and how the ball is sitting and how you want to deliver and what's the feel into the target. If you're playing basketball, shooting a free throw, a nice medium arc versus a very high arc versus a line drive into the basket. So you feel the flick on that medium arc and you see how that ball is going to swish through the basket. So you have a picture and you have a very, very particular feel on that release. Well, a fade release is very different than a draw release. A topspin backhand versus a cut spin backhand. Notice how I'm giving you a feel and I'm giving you a picture. That's how you want to play golf. And that's how you want to mold yourself. You want to mold yourself to that picture, because the positions are worthless without a target. Hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next one.